Happy Wednesday. Hi, guys, and welcome back, or welcome for the first time. Happy to have you here. It is, gosh, what's today? It's a big day, huh? It's such a big day. I don't even know what day it is, except for the fact that it's Wednesday, and I'm so happy to share this hour with you. I talk about this all the time, I know, and it never gets old because time is really so precious. And I'm just so happy to spend this precious time and to, transfer this precious energy that we have together globally. So welcome to Speak Up and Empower and the Win-Win Real Talk. As you know, this goes down live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that's 2 p.m. EST. And I'm just so happy to have you here today. Just so you know, Speak Up and Empower is a global community of heart-centered people, heart-centered entrepreneurs who just envision more for this world. And we come together to have a voice, to share all the good things that we know, that we would love to bring attention to, that we would love to just create a movement in. And so we're just happy to have you. It is a member-based community. If you want to learn more, DM me. I'd love for you to be a part of it. We're growing globally, and it's just so nice to be connected digitally, right? I think we can say a lot about how fortunate we are in these times, though it's cloudy at times, it's rough at times, I know, especially in this thick political climate we're in. But reality is, our world is our world right here, right at home. It starts at home. And, I'm doing my part in trying to create, a positive environment for the kids. And no better way than to, just do what you love, right? And just really appreciate everything for all it is. And I'm super excited today, guys. I have someone that's here with me, and I'm going to add him too, because this is a tribute to him and all he's done for me and my family. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Hello.
I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome. Welcome to Speak Up and Empower.
Glad
And
to
then
be here. So glad to be here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well. Thank you. Thank you so much for making the time. I know you're crazy busy with your 5 girls, right? Your beautiful wife and your 4 beautiful daughters. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you on so many levels. And I'm just so happy to have you here today because you are such a light in my life, you and Johanna. And, anytime I have a guest on, I want the world to know that you mean so much to me. And the fact that you didn't give up meant that you didn't give up on me, that you didn't give up on my family. And it just means the world that you're taking the time to share yourself with us. But I really appreciate you, Adam. And you've changed so many lives. You changed so many lives, and you're continuing to do that, even though you have such a crazy, personal life as well. But I want you to know how much I admire you, not just on a professional level and on a business level, but on a life level. When I got started with our company, I was with another advisor. Great guy, really technical, knew all his stuff. But when I stepped into your office, Adam, yours and Johanna's, I absolutely just fell in love with both of you. I fell in love with your vision, your vibe, and I just believe in you wholeheartedly and all you're doing. And thank you for letting me be a part of it. Thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Glad to have you. It wouldn't be the same without you, for sure.
Oh, thank you. So, let's just dive right in, right? I want you to tell me just who Adam Mockett is. CEO Adam Mockett. So how was your upbringing? What was your childhood like?
I am one of 5. My mom and dad had 5 kids, and then my dad got addicted to drugs. He was in and out of our lives. It did kill him. We're living at my grandma's house, and I'm sharing a room with my 2 brothers and my mom. It's like a triple bunk bed. And I'm thinking, man, I got to do something. I got to help my mom somehow. I got 2 older sisters, but I'm the oldest boy. And I got to help my mom. I got to help my grandma. And I don't know what it's going to be. I love music. I was pursuing, eventually out of school, the music industry and being a band manager. But the problem was any money I would make would go back into the bands, and I knew I wanted to marry Johanna. So I know you guys, you've been talking about her. She's amazing. I've known Johanna since middle school. She
Wow.
doesn't really remember me till about 17 years old. The coincidentally the same year I got my braces off on a nose job. So finally got her to notice me, and we dated for about 4.5 years before we actually got married. She did try to break up with me quite a few times during that time as well. But I was telling her, I was like, look, she's like, I think we should break up. I think we should break up because you're just so certain that I'm the one, and I'm just not so sure that you're the one for me. I just told her, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're not going to find out that I'm the one by not being with me. You're going to find out that I'm the one by being with me, right?
Oh, wow.
So it's like people that say, oh, I know for sure I don't want to have kids. I know I don't want to have kids. You don't know you don't want to have kids until you have kids. I have 4 daughters, and I love them, and they're amazing. And now with Johanna, but we just really, honestly, I saw the financial industry as, it's crazy to think, but I saw the business as a way of just kind of just make some money part time while I was pursuing my dream as a rock band manager. And I ended up just getting really convicted about what this company was doing and that they were helping middle America. And that was everybody that I knew, basically. And I was just like, man, like, people really need to know this. I can't believe nobody knows this. It didn't matter if I was doing appointments in Manhattan Beach and they got their big houses and their BMWs, or in bad neighborhoods. Nobody understood this. And I was like, oh my gosh, people need to know this. And eventually ended up opening up our own office in Torrance about, gosh, like, I don't even know, 8 years ago now, and changed my life. So grateful for the company, because now, like I said, having 4 daughters, have complete freedom, control, and able to really make an impact and influence people's lives, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's so awesome to have both, right? They usually say, especially coming from like the corporate America lifestyle and being in that 6-figure rat race that I was in, they say it's relative, right? You either have more money and less time, or the reverse. But
Yeah.
here, so beautiful is that we can have both, right?
Yeah.
And we can incorporate our children. And like, I loved your office. When I walked in, I was like, oh my gosh, I see kids. I see people of all color, right? Of just like different ethnic backgrounds. And that's exactly what I love. That's what I came, like, that's what I'm used to. And I love your fighter, never give up spirit, even with Johanna. I think that's so beautiful, and that says a lot about like what you do, and just who you are, you know. And can you tell me a little bit about what happened to your right side?
Yeah, so you can't tell on the Zoom, but I can't use my right hand. I got nerve damage to the right side of my body. So due to a vaccination, I know it's pretty crazy, controversial, but it was like a bad batch, I'm not even sure, 1984, big lawsuit. I didn't get any money from it, but it did give me a lot of perseverance and patience. And, learning to tie my shoe, ride a bike was difficult, but eventually I can get there. Once I knew I could learn to ride a bike, I could learn how to do other things. And I just knew that things were always hard, just expected it to be hard. My life was pretty hard. So it gave me that, like I knew that eventually I would get there. Eventually I'd make it happen. And it's pretty much has been my life.
That's amazing. Amazing that you went through that. And I like from the first time I heard you and Johanna speak, I felt like you guys are speaking my soul. I felt like I'm like your golden child. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so like Johanna. I'm also so like Adam, our shoe problem. That was the closer right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And then, when I heard about your story about the vaccination and the adverse reaction, I couldn't help but feel like that could have been me, because we're born the same year, 1983, whoop, whoop, right? And that could have easily been me, because I'm a vaccine baby too, right? And I think that's something that we should kind of talk a little bit about because of these times, right? And I really hope that people will just do more research and what's in the vaccines and whatnot. Obviously, that's not what we're here to talk about, but just shining a little light because the kids, our children, are in our hands. We are making these decisions for them, right? And so I think it's more than ever, we need to do the research, we need to do the due diligence, and we need to put our heart and soul into everything we're putting our efforts into, especially this business. And can you just tell me a little bit, Adam, how did you even get introduced to this? Because I mean, you went from music to finance. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it still is crazy to me. What happened, honestly, was I went to El Camino Community College. First day of school, they had all these booths set up.
Okay.
And then one of them said, hey, get a credit card. We'll give you a free backpack. So I'm like, sweet, I don't even have any money. Let's go. So I got, they got me when I was young and dumb. This is illegal now, but they used to do this. And so I started buying a lot of recording equipment like keyboards and Pro Tools and different music things that you need. And got in a lot of debt. And like I said, I knew I wanted to marry Johanna. And so I was like, shoot, I'm in all this money. I'm in all this debt. I need to find a way to get out of this. I don't know how I'm going to do it. So I got referred to the company I work for now to help me get out of debt. Her name was Christina. She said, look, if you stick to this plan, you'll be completely debt free in 1 year. So I decided to be really disciplined and strict. And I was like, all right, I'm going to do it. And I actually got out in 8 months just from the education. And in that 8 months, I would ask questions all the time. Like, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And her office at the time was out in the valley, which I live in. I was living in Redondo Beach. So it's not that far, but, LA traffic, it takes about 2 days to get there. So I was like, all right. So I met with her one time. She met with me. And then she told me, she said, hey, I'm opening up an office in El Segundo, which was like 15 minutes away from me. I think you'd be great at what I do. I want you to come work with me. I was like, no, thank you. Finance, that's not for me. I'm not good at sales. I'm pretty anti-corporate America kind of guy. I don't dress up, all that stuff. But she said, look, I'm not looking
for or something, or what?
I had it out at that time, but my ears pierced, lip pierced, all that stuff.
Okay.
So, totally not my scene. But she said, you know what? I'm not looking for a salesperson. I'm just looking for somebody I can trust. I'm really good at what I do. I can teach you how to do everything. I just can't teach somebody to be a good person. And for me, I guess that really stuck out because being in the music world, it didn't feel that way. Just being in bars and clubs every night.
Right.
Starting to wear on my spirit, and just I was having a hard time. And so I was like, you know what, this could be something I can just, if I can learn how money works, that'll help me as a band manager. And based on these numbers, if I do, this part-time, I should have enough money for a wedding ring. And now I knew the company was really good because they helped me get completely debt-free, and they also had helped Johanna and my sister. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to learn. I'm going to take these classes, learn how money works, get some mentorship. And she took me under her wing, and Johanna and I did it together, which was amazing because we have such different gifts and different strengths. She's good at everything. I'm not good at anything. So it really works out for us to work together. But we, it just, every time it just got more and more like, wow, like this is not really about math. This isn't really about, they're obviously finance, but it was more about people, and you really were making a difference. And I just liked people. I liked helping them, and it didn't cost them any money. It was really educational. And so it wasn't the fastest by any means, but I just started doing it part-time. And, 10 years later, I was able to buy a house by the beach. So I'm really grateful.
Wow. That's so awesome. So client first, didn't know anything really about the business, and then just was really convicted from really just your problems being solved, right? Becoming debt-free yourself, and then seeing your sister, your future baby mama of 4 beautiful daughters getting help too, and then you considered it because you're like, if I'm a band manager, I should know about money too. It doesn't matter, right? I think talk about this all the time. I say, hey, doesn't matter what your pursuit is, what your profession is, you need to know about money regardless. Right? Regardless, I think that's like the basic level of anything you got to know is just how money works. And it's like you said, it's crazy how we're not taught this in school, right? We're not taught this even in business college. I think there's something really broken here. And I love that we're able to fix that one family at a time. It's just so amazing how you've been able to even help my family. You and Johanna helped my family, and I'm so utterly grateful. But I love that you guys make it so fun too. That was another thing. I love that you guys are so real, and you guys are so patient with me. And that you just are so knowledgeable at the same time. Like, you are just the perfect balance of everything I was looking for in mentorship. And I just, again, want you to know how grateful I am, that you didn't give up and that you kept going, and there were no excuses. And you could have had all the excuses in the world with just this, right? With just your right side even, and you chose not to. And I admire you so much for that.
The one thing I am, before we get on, thank you.
Of course.
The one thing that I am grateful for with this whole COVID thing and vaccination we're talking is finally people don't want to shake hands. Just so much better. Because, it's my right hand. And nothing says you can trust me with your money like a hand I have no control over. So we're bringing the bow. We're bringing the bow.
Bringing the bow back. Yes.
Let's do it. They figured it out 6 years ago. The Japanese was much better.
Okay. Just keeping it Asian ninjas. Let's go. Yes. So tell me a little bit about, if you will, like, what do you have, like a specific moment in your career with what we do as to when you really just went all in?
In. Why? There's two main ones. So during the beginning, honestly, I never planned on making it my career. My plan was like, I shouldn't have enough money to make a wedding or get a wedding ring within 3 months or so. Then I'm out of here. I didn't tell that to Christina.
Okay.
But that was my plan. I never planned on making my career. Yeah. But so here's what happened. So when I was at El Camino, I was getting frustrated because originally I was going to school for business, but I felt like I was learning business from broke teachers that never really ran a successful business. And I'm not good at school. I have dyslexia, and I just was like, well, this is what you do, right? You go to college because that's what you're supposed to do. And so I'm going to school, feel like I'm wasting my time, spend all this money. And but I found out that the econ teacher at El Camino Community College was completely financially independent. He just had a passion for teaching kids. So I after class, everybody leaves, and I go up to him and I say, so everybody keeps telling me you're this really wealthy guy. Is that true? He's like, yeah, it's true. I'm like, man, that's awesome. He's like, I know. I'm like, well, what's the secret, right? You're the business teacher. What kind of business should I start? I was 19 years old. He said, look, this is economics 101. It's all about supply and demand. There's got to be demand for your business. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, what's in demand? Well, kid, if I were you, I would do something that services the baby boomer generation. There's a lot of them. So at that point, I'd heard of them, but not really knew anything about it. But for those who are watching and don't know, World War II ends. They haven't seen their sweetheart in a long time. So, boom. Babies. If you could have a baby, you did. And on average, we're crazy. We have a lot of kids. But, having 4 kids was average back then. That was the average number. So the country had never seen so many babies of one generation born at the same time. So first, companies like Gerber and Johnson & Johnson completely explode. They go from selling like 10,000 jars of baby food per year to 10 million jars a day.
Oh, crazy.
Because they have a new flavor, right? Split pea banana broccoli. No, it's just a bunch of
You don't know that, Adam. I'm just kidding.
I'm telling you, man, just baby. So you were selling baby products, you became pretty successful. And then toy companies, when they turned into kids, like Mattel and Barbie and Ken and all that. Then it was construction. Schools were being built, hospitals, freeways being built. Then in 1964, the very first baby boomer turned 16. Well, what do most people want to buy when they turn 16?
Okay.
You knew it, right? They didn't want to drive their mom's station wagon. They wanted fast cars with their fast foods when McDonald's blows up. But Mustang, Beetles, and Camaro, all the cars are actually redoing right now. Some it's the same guy in their retirement, which is the right place at the right time. It's just supply and demand. right? And then they grow up, these kids, these teenagers start having families, they start having kids. So the American dream, buy a house, right? You mentioned you were kind of in that real estate world, but as you know more than anybody, it's extremely competitive now. But in the 80s, it was just boom, just throwing keys to people because everyone's growing up and needs to buy a home. Live that American dream. But fast forward, now these baby boomers are getting older. Well, when I was in El Camino College, I started researching and started studying for the last basically 5 years. I started thinking, like, what can I invent that the baby boomers need? Like a cane with wheels? I don't know. What do old people want, right? That's the thing. I'm 19 years old. What do old people want? Well, I'm doing the band management thing. I'm going to school. And now I'm at Cal State Fullerton for entertainment management. But I'm doing this thing part-time. And I decide I'm going to go to this conference. And the guy that was speaking, he actually used to be the tennis coach up in your neck of the woods at San Jose State. Represent. See, yes. This guy who, East Side saying, "Oh, let's go." But we go to this conference, and there's 1,000 people in the room. And the reason why I mentioned this guy is because he used to be a tennis coach, but by the time I go to hear him speak, he's very, very, very wealthy man. His goal was to, in the financial industry, in the company that we work with, was to get out of debt, which was my goal. And he also wanted to buy a sofa for his trailer. So he made it, right? He's very successful by the time I go to hear him speak. And there's probably 1,000 people in the room, and I swear to God, everybody disappeared. He was talking. He spoke to my soul.
Wow.
He said something that just changed the whole direction my life was going with the whole music world. He said, "Look, this was in 2007. He said on January 1st, 2011, the very first baby boomer is going to go to retire. We need to get ready for him." When he said that, oh my gosh, like clouds cleared up, music played, bird landed on my shoulder. Oh my gosh, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I've been praying for the last 5 years. This is what my business teacher was talking about. This is it. This is what I'm going to do. So I literally stopped being a band manager. I got a job at Pete's Coffee and Tea in Redondo Beach. I was a tea specialist. And
it's the ninja in you, that Japanese ninja in you, right?
I do, right. And also saying that's also an up north company, Pete's. So we're representing here. We're representing for the San Jose. But so I'm working there in the mornings. I'm opening and waking up 4 in the morning, working till like 12, and then I'm learning how financial advising works, learning about 401k rollovers and things like that, because I knew there was going to become a time when the baby boomer goes to retire. And when somebody goes to retire, you have, there's trillions of dollars in these 401ks, trillions of dollars in these 401ks. And when you go to retire, you move that money. And when money moves, somebody gets paid. So I figured it might as well be me. I knew I would be the fastest. I knew no one was going to take me seriously. I was 22 years old, but I said, I got 5 years to figure this out. 5 years, and they're going to take me seriously. I'll have my own office in Torrance, where I'm from, next to the 405. And we did that. And, but it honestly is bigger and crazier than I ever thought it would be. Here's this kind of a rant, but it is important.
No, I love this. Please educate us, bring the awareness. Please, yes.
So I was like, okay, this is so crazy that people need this. It would actually take 3 generations of financial advisors in your entire industry,
crazy.
Just to get to the baby boomer generation.
So crazy.
Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So then I got to the point, my wife and I was like, we need to teach and train people how to do this. The demand is too big. I can be holding a cup while this huge wave is going to come, or we can teach and train some people, and then we can try to catch some more of this water as it's this tsunami that's coming through. So on January 1st, 2011, the very first baby boomer turned 65. After that, every 7 seconds, someone's turning 65. Every 7 seconds. So we expanded and grew, and we got our agency up to about 175 licensed agents, all pretty much in Southern California. And then COVID happens. World shuts down. Like, oh crap, what are we going to do? We need to figure this out. Are we kind of a reputation of meeting in person and really connecting with our clients? And so we were doing nothing on Zoom. We were doing nothing really on the phone. So we're like, we need to figure this out. But we did. just like entrepreneurs always do. They figure out a way to make it happen. And
Yeah.
so we jumped on Zoom, started doing some trainings with our team, doing everything over Zoom. And honestly, it's been a blessing in disguise, because normally we would meet with somebody in person, but you had to be pretty close to us, 2-hour radius or whatever.
Yeah.
Now we can meet with anybody in all of the 50 states, Canada. You want to meet with somebody. I just this morning was meeting with somebody in New York, somebody in Texas. We met with people, now. And what's really cool too is I can teach and train people in larger groups, and it doesn't matter where they are. We went from 175 licensed agents in Southern California to now we're in about an hour in 18 different states just from COVID has happened.
Wow.
And so we're teaching and training people. We actually have a big team of people that were performers in Vegas. They're doing like the Circus Delay stuff and all that, but that obviously completely shut down. But these are competitive, hungry athletes. Like I'm talking like Olympic athletes that are like, teach me how to do this. Because what people don't realize is finance is, you got to learn it, but it doesn't take a rocket scientist. But if you're competitive, if you're hardworking, if you're self-motivated, you can figure it out. You can figure it out. And so we have a bunch of really awesome independent people that we're now teaching and training in about 18 different states. So definitely a blessing in disguise. And I really believe that anybody can do it. They just have to have that willingness to learn and willingness to put in the work. A lot of times people criticize our company, our model. We're the 5th largest financial company in the industry, and we're the fastest growing by almost double. We're number 1 in women in finance. So we're a huge company.
Yes.
But the problem with this being so big is we get a lot of negative reviews and things like that on Facebook or on like Yelp or these websites, not about what we do for clients, but our business model, because we'll give somebody a shot. We'll take somebody who doesn't have a background in finance and we'll teach them, we'll train them, we'll show them how to do it, but it's really up to them to make it happen. And so unfortunately, somebody will come in and they'll say, oh, it didn't work, it's a scam, it's, they recruited me and I didn't make any money. Well, yeah, no crap, you didn't even get licensed. You didn't learn how to do that. It's not easy. You got to learn how to, you're becoming a financial advisor. But it's just like anything. It's like, I don't know. I know hundreds of real estate agents that have a real estate license that never made any money. It doesn't mean real estate doesn't work. It just means you're not putting in the work, the effort, and like doing what you got to do. Look at all these people. Like, I tried to be a professional baseball player, but it's a scam. I never made it to the Dodgers. Yeah, no, you're not good enough. Not everybody can do it. So I'm sorry to tell you that. Not everybody can do it. I believe that in this model, really honestly, people from all backgrounds, whether they barely speak English, whether they, have people skills, they could eventually get to that point. They can learn how to do it. Not everyone's naturally as gifted or naturally as charming or charismatic as win-win over here. But eventually, I just kind of had that mindset, just like learning how to tie a shoe, ride a bike. I expected it to be difficult. I expected it to be hard. And so when people came and tried to talk negative about the business, I said, yeah, of course, you didn't make it. You give up on everything in your life, right? like
real talk right there.
College, like, oh, you dropped out of college. Oh, I guess nobody should do college now because you dropped out because it doesn't work. Like, give me a break, So we're, our business, we were looking for the right type of people that have perseverance, that have patience, that do have strength, character, integrity. And unfortunately, not everybody has that. Most people would rather have a secure job, work for somebody else. They know that they're never going to get rich, but at least they know they're going to get paid. But what's so crazy now is, honestly, I feel so much more secure than if somebody has a job right now. Nobody feels secure in their job right now. Very, very, very few people. And so doesn't matter what happens, I know that I can make money, that I can help people, because it's up to me. It's not up to my boss, which is pretty awesome.
That's so cool. I love everything you said. I hope you guys were taking notes like me. I have like a ton of notes right here. Oh my gosh, I could not stop taking notes because, gosh, you shared so many real things. I mean, talk about timing, right? Timing can be everything. I was lucky once being in real estate during the boom, right? And then everything busted. And yeah, I was making 6 figures. I capped at $200,000. It was great, but I definitely didn't have lifestyle. I had no damn time for anything. I barely saw my kids. And when I saw them, it was because I was working at home, doing everything I could, but I was never present, you know? I love that through that we can be present and we could do it all. And timing, gosh, timing is so good. You said every 7 seconds?
Every 7 seconds. And here's what's crazy. I didn't even really mention this, but now the older baby boomers are turning over 70. Now, this is a financial thing you need to know. There's an IRS code. I know you know this, Wynn, but for those watching, there's an IRS code that says once you turn 70 and a half, you have to start withdrawing from your 401k because you haven't paid taxes on it. So Uncle Sam comes knocking. Pay up. You haven't paid taxes for the last 30 years, but now you're 70 and a half. I don't care if you want to touch it or not, but you're going to have to. Otherwise, you're going to get penalized and you're going to get taxed. And same thing with what you should also know is with the 401k, you cannot touch it until you're 59 and a half. If you touch it before you're 59 and a half, you're going to get penalized and taxed more. People end up pulling that money out and 50% is gone right off the bat. So don't touch your 401k early if you don't have to. But you do need to talk to a financial advisor before you're 70 and a half. Otherwise, you might not make the right choices. And, right now with what's going on, we still don't even know who the president's going to be. It's so up in the air and the stock market is emotional and people are nervous and scared. They don't know what's going to happen. All this is happening. And so if you're in your 30s, 40s, whatever, not a big deal. But if you're in your 50s and 60s, you really, really want to be careful and start thinking about what you want to do. Because in 2008, people's 401k did drop. We made a joke called a 201k. You don't want to lose half your retirement.
So real.
When you're close to retirement, it's not okay. And so that's a huge, huge thing that's happening too, right? Again, reason why we're expanding and growing and when everybody else is downsizing, because not only if you retire, but when you get laid off. And so many people are getting laid off. They have this 401k just sitting there. We need to move that. We can have control over it and have it, under something that you understand. So just doing nothing with it.
I love that. It's so true. Yeah, timing is so good for what we do. And the fact that we've grown, we've expanded, we're helping so many more families during these times. I think that says so much about being at the right place, the right time, and with the right people. That's another thing. I love that you touched on it being a scam, right? To many people, it can be a scam. Yeah, with the wrong people, anything's a freaking scam. Let's be real. Right? And if we're going to give someone a shot and it's a low barrier to entry, unfortunately, it does get into the hands of wrong people, and wrong people are going to do wrong things, no matter what it is. And so that's why we're so particular about who we want to work with, right? Who we want to
say too. It's really important to also know is that for me, one of the things because I felt the same way, to be honest, when I first saw it, I was like, this seems too good.
I was like, this seems
true. If people were making the kind of money, our company actually has the most $1 million annual income earners than any other company in the United States. We're number one. So for that to be the case, I'm like, man, that just seems too good to be true. If it was true, why would they want me, a college dropout, working at Pete's Coffee? And so it did seem too good to be true. But the thing that really helped me, first of all, I was a client. They helped me. I was like, this is good. They helped me. I literally would never got debt free. I am now because of them. So I know that part's good. Johanna was not in debt. Johanna had a bunch of money sitting in the bank doing nothing. And just in this short period of time, this about 8 months or so, from the difference from it sitting in there for 10, 15 years to the 8 months, it had actually grown money. The money had grown versus sitting in the bank earning nothing. And she's like, man, why didn't I know this when I was 12 years old getting this babysitter money? Why didn't anybody tell me? Mom, why didn't you tell me? Mom and Dad, who owns this, successful business, they said, because we didn't know. If we would have known, we would have done it ourselves, even them who had a successful business. But thank God, because they had nothing saved up really for retirement, and just putting all their money in their business, which was, I think, a lot of people do. They just don't know. They go to the bank and the bank gives you nothing. And so they're like, well, I might as well spend my money, get some new shoes, because I'm not going to earn anything here. Unless you make really good money, then you can have a financial advisor, and then they'll pull you over and help you. But if you have an average job, right? Good luck figuring it out.
Yeah, and they'll even charge you for it. And there's no promises or anything like that. But I love what you said, because it's so true even for me, the fact that my parents were clients with Transamerica since 1996. I mean, I think that drops bombs right there on truth, right? And also the fact that I reached out for help And I gave them every permission to, I gave you guys permission to sell me life insurance. And instead, you guys educated me.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like, this is amazing. And so when I became a client, I wanted to be sure first. I did a ton of research before I became a client because I'm one of those. I love doing research. I don't sleep on purpose. And so when I became a client, I saw that I had money at the bank. Exactly your example. I had money sitting at the bank. I had about $20,000 I saved up during my corporate career, right? That I had set aside because I'm Asian like that. And that's just what we do.
Well, let's go.
Okay. But my problem was I didn't know where to put my money. It was either going to be my 401k, which I had already maxed out because that's all I knew. So I thought I was sitting pretty. And I have a business degree, and that's, again, all I knew. So I had 20K sitting in a CD thinking, okay, it's better than a savings account. Mm-hmm. And it's more conservative than riding the waves of the market in a 401k. So I've got the variable account. I've got this fixed account. What can I do? Okay, let's do the CD. It's a little better than a savings account. It was doing jack crap. Yeah. So while it was doing jack crap and I had become a client with our company, I saw my money growing so much without any risk that I moved that 20K into my account that's growing with our company, right? That I would have never known about, never even took advantage of unless I knew and asked for help. Yeah. And guess how much money I made with 20K? I made 3K that month by just moving it, right? That's real talk right there. That's real talk right there. That's how much our company served me with just one account. And I have so many other accounts, right?
Empower, man. Speak up and empower.
Yes, let's talk real. Let's be real about it, right? And I love everything you said, timing and the fact that we're serving. Yes, families have their monies in 401ks and we think that's awesome. Hey, it's better than nothing for sure, but there's no protection on that money. It's completely like just stock market driven, right? And so what we do is like, right, we roll it over, but we don't just roll it over to anything. We educate you in the process. We give you options, but also it protects your money too against loss, right?
Well, and then also, and this kind of goes hand in hand with the credibility that really set for me two things that happened. First of all, the guy that was doing the presentation for me, like the recruiting presentation, he had left Raytheon. He went to school, got his degree at UC Santa Barbara, was a high-ranking engineer, and left being an engineer and was doing World Financial Group full time. I was like, man, if this guy, like, I'm dropping out of college, and I'm definitely not going to be an engineer. And an engineer is like one of the good jobs. Like they say, doctor, lawyer, and engineer, and he left it. So I was like, man, maybe there's something serious to this. So that was something that really helped me, like, kind of jump in. Also, there, like, people would, when I thought it was a scam, but then I said, well, they represent Prudential, Nationwide, Transamerica, like all of the companies that I already know. Like, so, like, obviously these companies are not going to deal with the scam. Like,
right?
There's just no way. And so once I got all those questions in, I just realized that, there's just a lot of dumb people that don't know what they're talking about. And also, I'm not dumb, just ignorant. And I don't know. I heard this from Kash Rastan, who works with us. I don't know if he made this up or what, but I thought it was really powerful. I said, he said, one of the worst things you can do as an entrepreneur, one of the worst things you could do is take advice from successful employees.
Ooh, say it again, Adam.
Come on. So that's it. Said one of the worst things you can do as an entrepreneur is take advice from successful employees about business. So obviously, if they're a successful nurse, successful doctor, successful engineer, and they're going to say, don't do that. You go to school. I came to this country and I was told, my mom said, go to school, get good grades so I could get a good job. Well, it's not the case anymore. I think the millennials and below understand this now. They're all graduating, can't get a job, and they're seeing these TikTokers and Instagrammers making hundreds of thousands of dollars and making money on businesses and online. It's just different. It's a different era. And I get it, like, go to school, go to college, you might as well, you're young. But this is that if you are young watching this, now's the time to go all in, just be risky. Like, you still live in a parent's house, trust me, both win and win know. And I know once you start having kids, it just becomes a lot more difficult to be as risky. And so, but you still can. You still can. I love that in our business, there's no quotas, there's no cold calling, no buying leads. You can literally have a job, even if you hate it, you have that job while you're simultaneously learning how to do it, building a business, figuring out if it is for you, if you can do it. But if nothing else, getting a world-class education on finance. I've had probably 3 people who work with us, finance majors, going to school, get a degree, then get a master's degree, and learning how finance works, and getting CPA license, all these different things. And I remember specifically one guy comes in and he says, he walks in my office. He looks like he's pissed off. He's like, "Can I talk to you about something?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." He's like, closes the door behind me. I'm like, "Shoot, he's going to quit." Like, dang it, another guy going to quit. That's a bummer. I get it. His business is hard. He says, "I got to tell you something, Adam. I'm pissed." I'm like, "What's the matter?" He's like, "I spent 5 years getting a finance degree, and I learned more in the first 90 days working with you than I did 5 years, and now I'm still in so much student debt. Why didn't you talk to me 5 years ago?" And it's just true. There's like school world, and then there's real world. Like, you can go do all the schooling in the world to be a good real estate agent, or all the schooling in the world to become a good personal trainer or a good baseball player, or whatever it is. But you're not going to really learn until you get out there, get in the game, get in the field, start learning, pulling teeth, whatever it is that you're really going to do. And I love that in this model that you can learn from someone who's really, really good at what we do. Someone like an Ed Milet or a Jeff Levitan, or Marshall Falk, who's a Hall of Famer football player who's now in the financial industry working with us, but he's moving up so fast and up the rankings. It's like, man, how are you doing it, Marshall? How'd you move up so fast? Ed, how'd you become one of the most wealthiest people in the country in this business model? How'd you do it? And he's like, let me show you exactly how I did it. Not how I did it in football, not how I did it over in this other business model, or where I learned at, Princeton or Silicon Valley, whatever, like Harvard. This is how I did it in this business model. Follow me, hold on to my coattails, and we'll do it. And it's so cool. Like you, Win, doing it so much faster than I ever did, but I'm learning from people and I'm getting better experience. Yeah. And so what took me to do in 10 years, you're doing it in 5 years. And so it's just incredible to see if you have a good mentor, a good coach, your odds of being successful is much higher. I heard a quote. I think it's a really powerful thing to learn or to understand.
Please.
The fastest way to become a millionaire. This is the fastest way to become a millionaire. Mm-hmm. This is a quote, but it's true. The fastest way to become a millionaire is to find one and copy them.
Yes.
I was like, man, it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I'm so happy I found my perfect cats to copy. Oh my gosh, that was so good. So powerful. Everyone's like loving this right now. So grateful, saying, awesome, you rock. Oh my gosh. Yes. School world versus real world. That's so true. I have a business degree. I was learning from, like you said, those not running a successful business, probably 1% of them, right? Mm-hmm. I was learning how to be an employee.
Yeah.
Earning my business degree. And I had to take finance classes, and I know nothing. I know nothing that I can actually apply to my real life, my real financial life now, until, thank God, seriously, WFG, thank God to you and Johanna and your family, because it's so true what we don't know and how it's so suppressed. Because why? The government, these industries, right? These enterprises, these companies, they capitalize on our ignorance, guys. Let's get real. Let's get real right here, right now. Like, it's so true. And that's why it's so important that we learn this stuff, not just for ourselves. If you're a parent, especially, I hope it burns your bottom to start learning this stuff, because if you're not going to learn this stuff to carry on this information and pass on financial literacy, you're going to be passing on financial illiteracy. And I don't know about you, that fires me up, because I don't want that to be my children. I don't want another, I don't want to duplicate that old part of me. The ignorant part of me, the person that didn't know any better, and it wasn't my fault. But once I know, right? But now that I know, it's in my power now to make sure that I empower others with that information. It starts at home too. And I love everything you said. Yes, we are so proud to be with World Financial Group. I am so proud to be with WFG and Transamerica. Now, each person is independent. I can't speak for others, right? I can't speak for other WFG agents. Right. But I can speak for us, and I can speak for Adam and Johanna to say straight up that I am so proud to be in business with you. And I am so grateful that I found you. Like, it makes me cry every time, that. And I'm trying to hold back tears right now. I'm trying to stay strong. But it's true. I'm so grateful. Like you said, these companies nationwide would not be on our side, right? And allow us to be on people's sides if we weren't legitimate. Let's be real. Prudential would not, right? We got people that are crying to us every day saying, oh my gosh, I wish I met you years ago.
Yeah.
If not
Well,
decades.
one thing that really helped me with that stuff, because I was so young and it did bother me,
Yeah.
but I was like, I made it like, oh, I got to make this happen just to prove you wrong kind of mentality.
Yes, I love that too.
Now I realized after being an entrepreneur for 13 years, every single business model, every entrepreneur, they deal with it. It doesn't matter if it's finance, it doesn't matter if it's WG, it doesn't matter if it's an MLM type of model, it doesn't matter if it's starting your own liquor store. You're gonna get haters. Haters are gonna hate. It is what it is. Whenever you want to do something great, you want to do something special, you want to do something different, then just know it. Everybody, for the most part, is on this wide road, this comfortable road where it's secure. Like, I know if I do these things, like these, like really smart students forever, they just want to stay in school so they don't ever have to do anything. But you, as an entrepreneur, you need to just go out there and make it happen. I think so many people want everything to be perfect. Well, before I start my business, I gotta have all my ducks in a row. I gotta have everything ordered. I gotta have all my money. I gotta have everything.
Yeah.
No, you just go. You just start moving. You start failing forward, and you just take action. That's the biggest thing I can say is just take action in whatever that dream is, whatever that goal is, and you'll learn as you go. Because even like I've taught some classes at some colleges for entrepreneurship, for entrepreneur classes in colleges, and I'm watching these kids. I'm like, this is a joke. This is so pointless. They're like doing these homework assignments and they're turning in these paperwork things, and I'm like, dude, you're employees. You're like learning. They're teaching them to become employees. It was such a. I'm like, you're wasting your time. You're wasting money. Go out there and be an entrepreneur. Go out there and just do it. Especially at 18 years old, now's the time to do it because you have no risk, nothing to like lose. Like, what are you gonna do? Claim bankruptcy? Like, no, you're not. You don't know. Like, it's never gonna happen. It's just now is the time to do it. Don't go to school for entrepreneurship. Go find a mentor, find a coach, somebody that is in your field who's already a millionaire, who's already won, and get them to like you. Get them to help you. Like, work for free. So like, I'll do whatever I got to do. I'll give you coffee. I'll deliver like food, whatever I got to do for you. But just let me sit around and watch you learn how to do this, and you'll see. You're like, oh, why would I waste time? 30 years of experience versus trying to figure it out on my own. It's foolish. I always see people like we have a bunch of babies, and people will talk to me about like struggling with their baby or like sleeping and stuff. I'm like, they make books. People spend their entire lives, hundreds and hundreds of hours, 30, 50, hundreds of years of experience to write this book about how to put a baby to sleep, and then you try to figure it out on your own. It's like, no, why would you do that? All my kids, they sleep through the night so quickly, all four of them. So just like, well, how'd you do it? We read a book, and the book said do it this way, and it worked. It's the same thing. Like with entrepreneurship, it's like, okay, you've already went through this landmine, this battlefield. You've like blown up a leg, you've lost an arm, but you've made it through the battlefield. And the guy says, hey, I've done this already. I've walked through this landmine 100 times. If you follow me every step of the way, you will not die. Or you could just go ahead and try to figure it out on your own. Good luck. All right, see you later, amigo. And people blow up because they think they have a better way. It's not smart. Find somebody who's really successful, find a millionaire, and copy them.
Oh, that is so good. So good. I hope you guys were taking notes, like I said, or watch this on replay and really just hone in on everything that was shared. I hope you guys got so much value. We have 8 minutes and we're going to make the most of it. So, gosh, timing, like you said, serving with a purpose, really helping families in an industry that's crazy to think of. And we say it a lot internally, right? That it's the highest paid industry and yet it's the most underserved. Think about that, guys. That's so crazy to me. And that's why my heart is here. That's why I'm do or die WFG, with Adam and Johanna. Like, I really am. Like, that's where I serve here more than anywhere else, guys. I just serve here more than anyone else. When people cry to you and say, oh my gosh, like, where have you been? They're crying, saying, oh my gosh, I don't know what would have happened to my account if I didn't move it over and protect it. I would have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And that was like this. And like, this is people's hard-earned money, right? And then also we create lifestyle for people. How cool is that? It's one thing to have like a retirement plan. That's definitely important. We can help you get on track, right? Out of debt, whatever solutions you need, we're here to help you and serve you. But the opportunity, right? The opportunity to build with people you love and you trust, right? Where you can pour into each other and create more time, right? That's just so beautiful. I love what we do. I love what we do. And if you don't know, it's because you don't know, and that's okay. But find something, right? Find something. And like you said, just take action. Take action, and you'll find out along the way. And that's when we say, right, it goes from your head to your heart. Like, is this really for you? Is this really for you? And you don't know until you give it a go, right? And then I love what you said about just our company and how people come on here not knowing a word of, like, you know, they have broken English and they're killing it in our business, right? Like crossing over 7 figures and just serving so many families. I mean, we have, I believe, 64 languages at our company. That's so beautiful. Talk about like the world, right? All in one place. It's just, it's so awesome. And then I think you said, oh yeah, you mentioned, so now you're training up these dancers and athletes from Vegas. Is that what you're saying? That's so amazing. So think about that, guys. Like, we have a lot of creatives on the team too, right? We have hairdressers. We have, you know, we got teachers. There are Stanford grads that quit their freaking attorney career, right? Their law career to do this full time. It's like the full gamut, full spectrum. But how awesome is that? Now you've got these people that would probably never see themselves in finance that did dance and are athletes that are now doing this.
It's amazing. I think the biggest difference from us in the traditional financial industry like Merrill Lynch or Morgan Stanley is, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Those who haven't, make it a blockbuster night. It's super good. But it's a true story about a guy who doesn't have a background in finance. He's a smart guy, but he's on Wall Street trying to sell this like bone scanning machine. But this other guy pulls up in this red Ferrari. And the guy that plays Will Smith, he says, or plays Will Smith, who plays the guy, says, "Look, I gotta ask you a question. What do you do and how do you do it?" He says, I'm in finance. I'm a stockbroker." He's like, "Oh, but you have to do a lot of schooling for that, right?" He's like, "No, you just gotta get the licenses." So people don't realize is most people that start a business do have a college degree, but all different backgrounds. But it doesn't matter if you work for Merrill Lynch, Morgan Stanley, Dean, whatever you name it. It's everyone's got to get the same licenses. Whether they work for Wells Fargo, Chase, it's the same licenses. And so you got to get those licenses. But the reason why, even though it's the highest paid, but the most underserved, is because there's no mentorship. There's no training. They're like, good luck, figure it out. In the movie, all Will Smith is doing is cold calling, going door to door. It's very difficult. Think about when you get a cold call, how quickly you usually hang up before you even know what they're talking about. No, thank you. Like, they may know the name of your company. They may have heard of Merrill Lynch, but who are you? I don't know you. No, click, hang up. So it's very lucrative, but very few people make it because there's no system, there's no training. They just do it that way. Where with us, we take somebody who doesn't have that background and we don't cold call, we don't go door to door, we don't buy leads. It's all referral based, but it's completely complimentary, very educational, and people just keep referring. But the newest agent, the brand new person, gets to sit and just watch it all happen. Shadow, doesn't even say a word, just seeing it over and over. The first time they see Wynn do it, they're like, "Well, she's too smart. I'm never going to be as good as her." But by the 5th time, it's like, "Scoot over. I got this." You know, when I'm doing it, they're like, "This guy's cheesy, man. I can do this way better than him." And so, but it's just because you actually have somebody who's successful and they're walking through that landmine, who's done it before, knows what to say, knows the concerns, there's not that many questions that people ask, but your success rate is so much higher if you have somebody that's training and mentoring you. And that's why our company is the fastest growing in the industry. #1 women in finance, 7, all of that. It's because of system. There's system. It's like McDonald's. You might be able to make a better hamburger than McDonald's, but I guarantee you they're making more hamburgers than your hamburger shop. You know, your whatever it is, system, proven system.
Distribution, guys, entrepreneurship. Yes, I love this. This is so good. So good. I don't want this time to end. We got like 2 minutes and I'm so sad because there's just so much to cover. But wow, I learned again, always so much from you. And again, you are just a real light. You are a real light to all the truths and I'm just, again, just so grateful. I'm so grateful. I know I keep saying that, guys, but I really mean it. I hope everybody feels how grateful I am to this amazing man here, Adam Mockett, and Johanna Mockett too. You guys are such perfect examples to me of like a successful, not just business, but marriage, and just a beautiful family unit, and I just can't be any more grateful, and I can't find a better cat. I just can't find a better cat. And I don't want to, I'm so happy here. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Any closing statements, anything you want to share, like any advice you have for children at this time, for girls?
Yeah, madness. I don't know. Just I would say, don't give up. Just never give up. Believe. Most people are not going to believe you. Most people are not going to think you're going to make it. Most people have their own issues, and that has nothing to do with you. And so you keep going until you get to where you got to get. That's just real talk. Speak up. Be empowered. I love you. God bless. Have a great day.
Love you, Adam. Thank you so much for making time. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
You're
Bye,
welcome.
guys. Have a happy Wednesday. Take care.